check. Got the brother here, the big brother, Tony Gaddy in the building.
What's up, man?
6 o'clock. The brother came on time.
That was early.
He came early actually. He shot
I know pre-production.
Yeah, he came.
I've been on sets before.
Yeah, he came. I can tell you did this before. Yeah, definitely appreciate you coming. You know what I'm saying.
I'm glad to be here finally.
Yes. This the brother. Tony Gaddy. Ex-ball player, right?
Play a little bit. Yeah,
right?
Play a little bit.
Yeah. Black Chamber of Commerce.
Indeed. Upstate New York, Black Chamber. I'm going to represent where I'm from.
Upstate, yes, sir.
Where we at?
Albany, yes, sir. We up here. So, yeah, I just, like I said, we orchestrated this show so we could pretty much highlight the brothers that's doing positive things in our community. Mm-hmm. The show is called
Sisters
Community
too?
Salute. Yes, brothers and sisters. Yeah, and our youth, girls and boys, we're trying to empower our people and show it is cool to be doing something positive in our communities.
Definitely.
It's cool to prosper in our community. It's cooler to have businesses. It's cooler to be in position to help our community and our people out. So I feel we got a rapport from before we linked up in certain rooms, certain meetings and stuff like that. So I felt that it was only right that to bring you to this show, and to reach out to even the name, the Black Chamber of Commerce. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's real powerful. I see at the Black Convention, the caucuses and stuff like that.
Got to be where we at,
man.
Yeah,
the Black Expo. At the Expo last year.
Yeah.
I was at the Expo, and I just want to I want you to elaborate more on what the Black Chamber do.
Yeah.
And what they have done and the access that we have to the Black Chamber.
Sure. Yeah. So Upstate New York Black Chamber is part of U.S. Black Chambers, which is a national organization. Okay. And we represent, as the name says, Upstate New York. Everything north of Westchester County is pretty much our footprint. So this being home, we're based here. Mm-hmm. So, the capital region has a unique value in and of itself in that, state capital. This is where legislation gets made, laws get dropped. So our core work in advocacy takes place here. Mm-hmm. So that has value in and of itself. When we make our moves throughout the the state, it's everywhere from Hudson Valley region all the way up to central New York and western New York. Rochester, Buffalo, Syracuse, and Hudson. We're making some moves down there, in Hudson Valley, Poughkeepsie, Kingston, and Newburgh. So that's our range of who we serve. But we're not limited to our membership. So our membership is as far west as Los Angeles, as far south as D.C. and Florida, because, chances are there are opportunities for businesses to come and do business in New York without necessarily having to be, within the state. So
y'all international, y'all global?
Yeah, we have 143 black chambers throughout the country, about 43 states, 145 black chambers. We have a Canadian black chamber based in Toronto. And we have affiliations, overseas in Africa, Durban, Morocco, and a few other countries over there. So
that's big.
All in due time, we'll start to, as we scale up, we'll be looking to establish our relationships through our national leadership with President Ron Busby, who kind of is like the guiding force of the entire organization. Okay. And we'll be looking to see what we can do, over there to kind of bridge that connect. So maybe we, get into the import-export. What opportunities can our members, as we expand, what can we do over there? What can people from there do here?
Yeah, right.
And how do we drive, business to New York, and especially upstate?
Okay. So what is exactly do the Black Chamber of Commerce do?
Our primary role is as the voice of black business. That is our, nationwide, that's pretty much our tagline.
Okay.
To speak up and speak out when it comes to issues relative to black businesses and black communities. It also includes being the eyes and ears as well. Okay. Listening and looking out for opportunities for our members, for our partners to build their businesses. We also focus on, government contract procurements in terms of MWBE certification to make sure that 30%. It's very important to us. And then there's, entrepreneur training, helping them develop their skills that they can apply to their businesses. And then the last thing is chamber development. So that's like making sure our chambers are strong.
Okay.
Making sure we stay unified. We just coming off our national conference last week, so it was good to kind of reconnect with everybody from throughout the country, and especially, the presidents, who serve in the capacity that I do, just to kind of see where they're at. We had our, presidents meeting, so that was cool to see everybody on screen.
So how many presidents are there?
But we got 145 black chambers throughout the country, so that's
big.
145
That's
of us. Plus, as I mentioned, Canadian Black Chamber represents.
That's
So
big.
it's
That's big.
we're family.
Yeah, that's dope. That's nice.
We
That's
lean
nice.
on each other. We listen to each other. We support each other. And
That's nice.
it's good to be a part of something that's so connected.
So me as a black business owner, right? If I was feeling like I wasn't getting into a business, or if I felt like I needed to get into some of these government contracts, because I know some of these government contracts you have to have a WMBE, which they made it as a WMBE before it was just the MBA, the Minority Business Owner, right? Which is for African Americans that needed to be inside the contracts with big companies and organizations, right? Now I hear that they switched it to WMBE, so some of these white men can have their wives, white wives come in and get some of these contracts because they're considered minorities too, right?
That is a loophole that was kind of inherently built into it. It's still MWBE.
Right.
It's just the fact that the W's have taken
For white women.
It's just the way it's designed,
Right.
and that little space to get into.
So have you ever had a conflict with, like, say, a minority business owner, African American business supposed to be getting a bid on the contract, and a white woman come and get the contract? That's supposed to be.
We haven't encountered that situation because here's the thing: the MWBE certification process in and of itself and it's currently, to their credit, being refined. So we really haven't engaged with the businesses getting certified because we've been on the side of trying to help them and improve the process.
Okay.
Certification and recertification. So I think we've been having conversations with Empire State Development, real good communication. We'll be doing some things with them in the future, and want to make sure the process is right. Because if the process is right, then it'll go well. In that 30% mandate that is came down from the governor, and through our work with Senator Sanders and the MWB task force that he chairs, then we know if the process is right, the outcomes and the results. That way everybody's winning. You got businesses winning, you got projects that are developing, and everybody's kind of fulfilling their role. If one part of it is broken, the whole thing is broken.
Exactly.
So
is it non-for-profit or is it profit? Chamber of Commerce, is it profit business?
No, we're a tax exempt organization. So that's our role is to we focus on being for profit for our members, but
y'all non-for-profit.
As a membership organization, that we that is our capacity.
Okay. Is it government funded or is it?
At the moment, we're self-funded,
Okay.
so we haven't even leaned into the opportunities that we could, and that's what 2020, our second year, was really going to be about. Was really continue to get our legs up under us as a young organization, not to get too aggressive and going after everything. We want to make sure, as I spoke to earlier about the process, getting ourselves positioned properly so that we can be more effective, more efficient. So it really wasn't a rush to go out and secure funding. It was about making sure that the organization itself was tight, and we still have things to do. As I say all the time, we're still a startup business ourselves, so we have to make sure that the things that we are doing too, and there's always room for improvement.
Absolutely.
And every day, we have to make sure that we're doing that.
Absolutely.
The better we are, the better we can serve.
Great. So, say a person like me wanted to get into the Chamber of Commerce. How would I go about getting into? How would anybody go about getting into the Chamber of Commerce?
Well, the easiest way is just kind of go to our website and look for to become a member header and just kind of go through the process. But it's also important, I think, to have a conversation with a prospective member to learn about their business, learn about the person as well, because it's not just about the business; it's about the business owner. The relationship you can develop by getting to know a person will help you better serve them. What are their family dynamics? What are their goals? All of that is part of. So it's always good when we have a conversation first. That way we can understand what the needs are, what the expectations are. Is it a good fit at this time? So that everything is about relationships. I'm a big believer in that, and I think by establishing the foundation of that. As solid as that is, that's what you build upon.
Absolutely.
And you just kind of go to the website, you see levels 1 through 4, you find the one that applies to you. When we first launched, we had these levels that were designed, and then we realized we weren't really serving the younger demographic, the youth entrepreneur who didn't have a LLC or whatever. So we had to kind of downsize a level of membership that we call level 1 that allows, a young entrepreneur to join. That's kind of still, so you still, if you don't have something for somebody that's reaching out to you, you risk losing them.
Right.
So we know we had to create a level 1. That way you could make it free, because then if you make it free, you kind of diminish the value of it.
Right.
You still got to invest in it. But that's what it is. It's not an expense. It's an investment.
Okay.
So we have levels 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you just find which one applies to you. You go through that, and then we get together right after that, and we just really get down to the details of what the needs are, what are the timeline, how's the business plan, what's your customer base, just the pop the hood, so to speak, and see how the engine is.
Right. So how long has the chamber been functioning?
We launched in February of 2019 during Black and Puerto Rican Legislative Caucus Weekend, and that was always the
Plaza.
The event was at the Plaza, but we hosted our event at Bull Moose Club right down the street from there.
Okay, nice.
And
nice.
We always knew when we incorporated in late 2018, we always had Caucus Weekend in mind as the launch, because we knew the whole city, the whole state would be here, and we would have that Friday night in between the chairperson's reception and everything that came after that, which was the after party at the Hilton or whatever.
I know I like to call you.
So man, you see everybody, and our launch event had everybody from elected officials from the state, the city, the county, business owners. It was it was diverse in its audience, and I think everybody had a great time, and it kind of set the kind of allowed us to kind of take off on the right foot with a good event that kind of introduced us to the public.
And it was one before you guys, though, right? Or was that, that was the first. That was the first one. How many chambers is in Albany? How many chambers comes?
I can't really speak to what that chamber's doing anymore. I don't really know. Okay. I'm too busy doing what we're doing. Right.
So it was 2.
Yeah, there was only 1, and then we decided to kind of go do our own thing, because it just I think you have to be able to work with the right people. Right. You can have good people, but good people don't always make for a good fit.
Right.
And when we decided to kind of go in a direction, and we reached out to U.S. Black Chambers with the idea we had, and we just felt like it was the right decision for us as individuals, and as what we wanted to do with the organization on behalf of our black businesses. Okay. And sometimes things don't always go the way you plan, but you still have an obligation and a commitment to stick to what you believe and what your vision is for something.
Absolutely.
You take the risk.
Everybody don't see the same vision at the same time, right?
Nah, it's not. And that expectation shouldn't be any different for us than it is for anybody else.
Absolutely.
Nobody complains about 2 law firms, 2 banks.
Right.
And all that kind of stuff. Like they're coming to America. Yeah. You have McDonald's.
Right.
And you have McDowell's.
Right.
What you want. So I kind of just look at it, and we never really look back. We dealt with whatever came with it, and was always forward. And the good thing is that some of those relationships, mending, because time doesn't heal all wounds. Right. But at least allows for conversation to see, where the Band-Aids are.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Things happen. And then, sometimes I think that, sometimes us as being, African American people, sometimes we see similar visions sometimes, you know what I'm saying? We have similar goals, but a lot of times it's hard for us to communicate.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like now, that's why I kind of created this platform. We created this platform so we could have these conversations.
Right.
We could be at the table to say, maybe we need this and this, like a directory, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
when people watch this, they say, all right, I can go to the Black Chamber of Commerce to help my business thrive.
Right.
If I could reach out to the Chamber of Commerce, they could reach out to another organization, another state, another city, zip code, something. It's like a network, right?
Yeah.
So I think this is big. We had the brother Chuck on here yesterday. He's from the Juice Bar. He do the health, health shakes. We got Emirates. She does the soul food, nutritionist. She does the soul food. We have Virginia on here.
Yeah,
real
like
estate.
Virginia's cool.
Irv. He does
things.
real estate. Yeah, we had Lukey for Lukey. He does
Advocate.
protests and advocate.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
man, he's out there.
Yeah,
you need that energy out there as well, because a lot of the work that we do is kind of inside,
right?
But
y'all still fight for the people inside.
we advocate,
right?
Yeah, we have to be.
Right.
We have to be that to your point about solutions, a lot of the times, the conversations we have at these, they say, seat at the table. It's important to have a seat at the table, but it doesn't mean you can't work on building your own table.
Right, absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
Those conversations, get had, where, we talk about, the solutions and what it's going to take to reach those outcomes that we're trying to achieve.
Right.
And that's just as important as the passion
Right.
that drives the energy
Right.
that we see, that we've seen, following, George Floyd and Breonna, and
Right,
the
right.
list goes on.
Right, right, right.
But without that,
right.
that balance between the two, the volume
Right.
and the tone, if you will,
That's why I wanted to know that's what the show is about, community solutions.
Yeah,
we want to make a better communities for everybody
Mm-hmm.
across the globe, because we all fight the same struggle. We all deal with the same, our young brothers getting killed in the street.
Yeah.
Less jobs, less employment, low wages for us. So I want to speak about the solution. What do you think the solution would be for some of for most of this stuff that we're dealing with? Because a lot of times we talk about the problem.
Yeah, well,
we can talk about that all day. You know what I'm saying?
if we're not on and on.
Yeah, but if we're not adding to the solution, then we're part of the problem as well. I feel.
I think I feel strongly in the first thing that we need to deal with as people is the trauma that causes the breakdown in trust and communication, especially between us as black men. That's part of the challenge of trying to build our communities. You can build buildings and open stores, but the fabric of it will always be the people.
Right.
How neighbors next door and across the street. I think you deal with that, and then you have to deal with the poverty, not just of the dollar, but of everything else, the mentality, the mind, the poverty that goes on in here.
It's funny you said that, because I had the other sister here last week, Sherry. Sister Sherry Burgess.
Not
you
by
ever heard of Brother Yusuf?
I have.
His
Okay.
wife. She was here, and she was speaking about the trauma, saying they did a lot of outings. She's speaking about taking the youth out to Adirondacks and somewhere where there's nature at.
Yeah, man.
Right? And me, my other sister, Lisa Good.
I know. Yeah,
we spoke about that too. We used to do a lot of rallies, a lot of visuals and stuff like that. And we saw the trauma. We dealt with trauma. We directors of companies. We dealt with a lot of trauma. So it was like, all right, we need to. When it's shocked, when everybody's shocked, we need to take them somewhere else.
Right.
So they not have to.
Right.
Even with the global would say, like, if a person's beefing here and you take them out to another city, another state, they see another world. Really, most of the time they're not even thinking about back home until they go back home.
Right.
That
escapism.
Young brothers, even me, I was going out there, meet new girls, we out there, we saw a whole nother, they treating us right out there, so it's like, I never go home. Then we go home, it's like the trauma hit you again. You know what I'm saying? She was like, wow, I gotta adjust back. Like we in Miami, we come back here, as soon as you get off the plane land, it's like, you see a dark cloud. Damn,
nobody's outside.
No lights, it's different. It's like,
I get that all the time.
Right?
I feel the same way.
So it's like, I think we need to build like bridges. We need to build like different lanes so we could use those avenues.
Yeah.
We're great people, but sometimes we don't get to show our greatness because we get stuck in, like you said, the trauma.
Yeah.
Right?
You don't deal with that, man. You still gonna have this thing going round and round and round.
Right.
And ultimately, our organization, we need to make sure that the foundation is laid so that we can start to open up businesses in our community. So our dollar can stay in there longer than 6 hours because there's more places to spend it. You have more businesses, thus you have more jobs. Now you're taking that dollar and you're spending it at your neighbor's store, because now your neighbor has gone from a renter to a homeowner.
Right.
And now he or she is further invested in that community. You turn it around by dealing with the economics of it, but that mentality has to be
changed,
and that spiritual
Right.
poverty as well that we lack and has to be addressed too. Because ultimately, we're the purveyors of our own communities. We need to be able to open up stores and develop Clinton Avenue and Lark Street and Henry Johnson and South Pearl and those things. And then when you start seeing that level of investment, resources being put in proactively, not after the fact.
Right. after somebody else do it first.
Right.
Right.
Or after something happened, now you want to come try
Right.
to fix it, but you could have fixed it in the
Proactive,
beginning and it
not
would have cost
reactive.
less.
Right. Be proactive, not
Right.
reactive.
Like, for example, what Kizzy did up on Quail Street.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Things
Shout out
like
to
that,
Kizzy
man.
too.
You have,
Yeah,
no
shout out
doubt,
to
no
Kizzy,
doubt,
that's
no
the
doubt.
sis,
I
that's my
saw a
sister,
picture
too.
of some Ali B's chicken
that's the big
over
sister,
rice. I got to
yeah.
stop and get one
Yeah.
there. But that level of investment,
Mm.
that's what will spark the transition.
Mm.
That's what's very important right now. We see all this other development going on around our city, but it's kind of going on around.
Right. Around us.
Now, we have these, this development going on right now with, these homes and such. But we need to start opening up businesses that are job creators.
Absolutely.
If we don't put money in the pocket, I got to put money in my pocket somehow.
Right, you have to. You can never knock a man for giving money in his pocket, feeding his family.
Can't.
Right? Even like Sister Virginia, she has the thing on right now. She has the Building Blocks podcast. So now we missing it. We're doing this now, but shout out to she's gonna have a recording. So if anybody wants to see that, but we buying properties in the neighborhood, revitalizing them. They call it gentrifying when they come in and take our city.
Right.
It's called gentrifying when
Right.
other people coming out. But we have the right to keep them out of the cities too. I heard if there's enough people saying right, no, you can't get this on our block, and we group economics, we coming together and saying no, y'all can't come in our neighborhoods because we got it. We're gonna take care of our own community, our own neighborhoods, right?
Yeah.
We show up to these meetings and everything. We advocate. End of the day, we can start building our own communities, right? And then we could do it all over.
Right. And to your point, that's one of the reasons why I decided to start engaging with the Albany County Land Bank. Now I heard a lot of not so positive things, and I'm fully aware of that.
Right.
But I'm not the type of person that's going to sit on the sidelines and throw tomatoes.
Right.
If I get invited into a situation where I might be able to lend resources and a perspective that can lead to your point, solutions.
That's what we need.
How can we?
Right.
Because the Albany County Land Bank is going to be here.
Right.
What can we do so that the Albany County Land Bank is doing what it's there to do
For us.
And so that's an obligation to engage.
So you on the board now, or you?
Not.
It's a conversation.
It's a conversation.
Okay.
I did join a committee that Pastor David Trainum put together.
Okay.
Called the Underserved Communities Committee to
Okay.
start having these conversations.
Okay.
How can we help the land bank be better?
Okay.
That's really what it started at.
Yeah, as long as I feel like as long as the right people's in the right places, getting the right things done the right way, it's gonna work out.
Process.
It's gonna work out,
Yeah.
But if people continue to come in our communities and not giving back to community,
Right.
you're gonna keep seeing what you're seeing on
Right,
TV. You're gonna
right.
keep seeing the neglect that they're showing us. You know what I'm saying? This is the reaction from seeing people taking away and not putting back in it. You know what I'm saying?
And
So
I
that's
know
why you got the shootings. You got the
Yeah.
Nobody's engaging with the people. So
That's
nobody
it,
knows what's
man.
going on.
Nobody sees any resources being put in.
Right.
But you see all this other stuff being
Taken out.
funded.
Right. And getting taken out the community.
Right. Or not just that, but other stuff that's getting investment.
Right.
That's it's not so much what's being taken out. It's what are you putting your money into?
Right.
If you're not putting it into us, then that shows.
You don't
But
care
then-
about us.
But
right.
then we have to start putting it into us as well. But ultimately, it's a responsibility and an obligation that we have to each other to invest in one another. Instead of taking that dollar and going to spend it elsewhere, find some place in your community where you can spend that dollar and get that same thing. Plus, you keeping it there. At the same time, we have to build more things that give us more options to spend our dollar.
Absolutely, like we talked about that earlier. You have to be worth spending my dollar with.
Yes.
Right. Not just because
Yes.
you're black, but you gotta have the quality. You gotta
Right.
be right. Everything has
Right.
to be the way I want to get it. Right. Don't
Yeah.
just say right. You gotta spend money with me just because I'm black. No, you gotta earn that.
That's the
Right?
standard is not
Yeah.
just that.
Right. Right.
But we need to be able to, a bank, the law firms, the CPAs, dry cleaners, car dealers, everything that we
Like Black Wall Street.
when we walk out. Yeah, when we walk out our door, do we have to drive far out to go get the things we need and want? That's where you identify.
Do y'all have access to a black directory in the city?
There is one being put together that we're starting to partner with an organization that has been working on one. We need to focus on putting together our membership directory first before we take on the entire black business directory. I think we have an obligation to our members to put our directory
So
together first.
y'all still in the growing stages. Like
Yeah.
infancy stages.
We're only a year old,
Okay.
and year 2 has been 2020.
So what's
Now we do have a Buy Black directory through our U.S. Black Chambers that I would encourage people to look into.
that's the brother in Atlanta, Sharif?
Nah, Buy Black is through our national office in D.C.
Okay.
U.S. Black Chambers, which is our for lack of a better way to put it, the parent
Okay.
company
In
organization.
DC.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
where that's home base for the national
Okay.
organization. And there is a Buy Black directory available through them that people can connect with.
And we get this information on the website? What's
Yeah,
the website?
yeah. U.S. Black Chambers. I want to say Inc.org.
U.S. Black Chambers.
Yeah,
Inc.
U.S. Black
Check
Chambers.
that out.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Check
okay.
out the Buy Black directory, or you can just
Okay.
Google
Yeah.
U.S. Black Chambers and you'll find it.
Okay.
But having a national organization allows us to kind of go at a pace where we can still build up, yet still provide a level of resources and engagement through that national leadership, and that's a benefit that we have.
Okay. So what's the what's like your hurdles you facing right now?
I think there's always a level of engagement and education and building trust so that we understand the need to not look at our dollars as expenses, but as investments. So that part of it, it's like when you say, well, what are you doing for marketing? Well, I'm on Facebook. I got a website.
Right.
That's great,
Right.
but that's not marketing.
Right.
That's only an aspect. That's a component of it. So that education, that learning curve about, what it takes to invest in oneself, what it means to spend on you, because that's what it is.
Right.
You don't believe in you, how can you expect somebody else to believe in you?
Right.
So that part of it, constantly having to address issues around access to capital, where we are starting to make some inroads with that
Are
conversation.
y'all connected with financial institutions?
Yeah, when we launched the organization, we didn't focus on how many members we could get. We wanted to focus on the quality.
Right.
So we're very fortunate to have, I want to say up to 8 or 9 banks and financial.
Which banks are you affiliated with?
Oh man, I can, everybody, Bank of America,
Okay.
Berkshire, Capcom, SEFQ, Sunmark.
Okay.
I don't want to leave anybody out. Capital Bank is a member. We're in the process of working with, we've had conversations with M&T, TD. So, if there's a bank in town, SEFQ
Okay.
is another member. So, pretty much every institution around here.
So if I need business funds, I would just come to you like, yo, Tony, I need to got my business right. My paperwork gotta be right, right? Which I gotta have my articles of what I gotta have.
Yeah, you gotta be incorporated. You gotta have a business plan. You gotta still go through the paces
Right,
of,
right.
And I can say
And
after
then
that.
you'll be the last step. Yo, Tony, I got this in
Yeah.
order. Reach out to the bank for me. Are you shadow me through? You take me down there too with you and just
I make sure you get
the black
introduced.
commas.
No, I just make sure I make a call and say, what, we have a member coming in to see a member.
Okay, and is the green light? Because I feel like when I say Chamber of Commerce, it's like the brothers is with me. The brothers coming through like.
Yeah. As long as
all
you have
black
everything
on,
you need
yeah.
on your end,
Okay.
having that introduction that I can pick up the phone to any one of our banks or credit union members and say, look, I got a member that has a great idea,
Yeah.
has a business plan that we think is solid. Can we set up a meeting? So that introduction, that relationship, that, the connector,
Right.
that's kind of our role where we, try to, like I said earlier, about needs.
Yeah.
If a member needs funding, we have a menu of choices.
Okay.
If you're banking somewhere already, then that's the first go-to.
Right. And
You know.
have you got anybody through like that already? Anybody came to you like that so far? And,
a few
success
people.
stories.
Yeah, our biggest success story came out of what happened after Paycheck Protection.
Okay.
Because up until that point, we were still kind of building ourselves up,
Okay.
and not a lot of people were coming to us specifically with finance needs. After Paycheck Protection wasn't a success for us that it was supposed to be, it became more of a sense of urgency. The thing with banks is that a lot of that is built upon relationships, and so, but I can't transfer a relationship to you.
Right.
I can make
what
an
you gotta do on your own.
I can make an
Right.
introduction. You have to invest the time to build that relationship up. At the same time, though, if you look at the way banks are, their workforce, that's also a byproduct of the type of relationship you're going to have with the bank. Because when we walk into a bank, especially here, everybody that we see is in the stand-up position. You know, the tellers, the customer service.
Right.
When it came to paycheck protection, those decisions were out of their hands. Right. So when you look at that aspect of the bank workforce, and they're, you know, we've had conversations with them, and they're very much aware this is a need that they need to address. Nobody looks like us that works at banks. You know, there's no CEO, no CFO, nobody making lending decisions. So that's an internal bank workforce development need. We've had those conversations, and they're aware. Again, as a voice of black business, we have to look at, especially our members. You don't have a black bank here yet. Yeah, it's the goal. It's an objective.
Absolutely.
Not a dream.
Absolutely.
I'm saying what I can say, what I say, what I
you
can't
gotta
say.
move in the silo. You gotta move right there.
Right.
Yeah.
But our job is to help our members be better, and that includes banks. So after paycheck protection, we had to have conversations with them about why it didn't go well. In the meantime, Key Bank stepped up with an emergency grant relief program through the Key Bank, powered by Jumpstart. Key Bank Business Boost and Build is the initiative, and it's powered by Jumpstart. And so we connected with them and Tamika Otis at Jumpstart. Actually, she's the director of the Business Boost and Build initiative. And Amanda Goyer at Key Bank, they came up with this emergency relief grant program, and you know, we engaged with them in Syracuse and Buffalo and here. And we made that available. And it really wasn't like a lot of money, but it was $5,000 grants to kind of get people some financing, but there was still a process they had to go through. So that was probably our first successful endeavor, engaging in the access to capital space that led to actual capital. So, and we, you know, and that also.
I still had a relationship with you.
Keep a relationship, bro. Keep a relationship. So, you know, we'll be solidifying that going forward as we continue to talk with our other bank members and credit unions also. Because the work continues. Access to capital will always be an issue for us. Because most of our businesses aren't financed through traditional lending. So we finance out of pocket. We pull in for family and friends. And some of us work jobs and finance that.
So is it like if people wanted to donate, maybe we could see some African American people that want to donate to you guys, you could do that as well?
Nah, we're not doing that. You become a member. That's it. That's all. Now, if you want to talk about a partnership, a strategic an initiative where we can sit down and map out a long-term thing that we can do, that's a conversation. But to go with the, you know, send donations to, I'm not saying we won't do that at some point, but the best way to become part of what we do, become a member. And I feel like everybody, especially black business, should be a member of the Black Chamber. But we're not limited to just black business. And that's what I think I need people to understand, is that we are an organization that's for black business. People I know that are part of the voice of, the eyes of, but we also have to understand that being for black businesses means you spend your money out of it, or you have resources that will help black businesses. If so, we were to limit it just to black businesses, we wouldn't have any banks as members, but instead we have 9. So you have to kind of see, just because I'm for this doesn't mean I don't speak to that. Because if it's going to help build up my black businesses, if a business owner needs funding and I need to go to a bank, I got to go out of town to talk to Carver or you know, other banks. So
everybody's definitely not bad. It's just that, you know, we need more attention over here a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
We do, but that level of intention has to start with you know, the communication. And also it's important that when I do step, you know, to them to have these conversations, I have to also be mindful of what's in it for them.
Right.
Because that you know, most people just say, oh, win-win. I never really thought like that. I always thought win-win-win. Because that first win is we. We were ready to start doing things that were like, because if we win, to the next level, you and me are good. Right. But if it's just win-win, that's just you and me. Right. That could go well, but if survival of the fittest kicks in, as they say, I'm gonna try to make sure I win.
Right.
I try to take all that out the equation by making sure our first conversation is about how do we
which we've
win.
still been able to do.
So every time we get together, you know I'm coming to the table with a collective win so that we can walk away both happy,
First of all,
and then that is just encourages us to want to do business the next time.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know,
That's a good way to look at
it
it.
doesn't always work, but I do always walk in with that mentality to walk out feeling like everybody came here
building
and
up
left
the
with something.
organization, making sure that we have
Absolutely.
who we
Any
need
questions?
to be who we are,
Oh,
to stay engaged with our members
no,
and continue
just to
to
say,
provide resources
there
to
are
them,
funding platforms
to
that
continue
you
to
don't
follow
need
the leadership,
business plans,
establish
Jason-
order,
Jason Morton?
in
business
DC with
financial
US Black
documents.
Chambers,
Jason Morton?
Jason Morton?
Yeah.
Okay, what's up, Jason? Yeah, that's my man.
He's a member too, so you should definitely
Okay.
check for Jason at V Vela.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get you the
I'm
funding.
glad he's watching.
Get you the funding.
I'm glad he's watching.
Shout out to Jason.
He also does that funding too.
Yeah.
Definitely. I was on the phone with him last night for a minute.
Deval,
He's all
Deval.
over the country.
yeah,
He's
us,
here, he's there.
Deval
I need to
Fleming,
do that
Fleming
in upstate New York.
said, right on, bro.
And be able to move around the
Right
country
on, bro.
when I can.
KCO Wilson
Oh, okay, that's another.
Okay.
said, peace.
For
Peace,
Yeah,
brother.
what's
Peace.
up, my man?
Yes,
and their
yes.
business,
Yes,
Healthy living out there. I see you.
yeah, that's the brother.
Yeah.
He be going to the waterfall.
Yeah, man. He
Yeah,
keep his mind right. He
Yeah,
keep his
that's
mind
good,
and his
yeah.
soul right,
Goes to the
man.
outings. That's what Sister Sherry was talking about, going out to the mountains and the wilderness
Nothing
and
like
going
it,
back to the
man.
black.
Kind of come back. You know, a lot of people don't.
I do that. We went to Niagara Falls recently.
Silence is good,
Nice.
man.
Nice.
Silence is good, where you can just hear water,
Yeah.
bugs, and
Yeah, that's
No.
needed for
Yeah,
trauma. 'Cause
man.
we deal with trauma. We get put right back into trauma.
I tell you a story, man. One time when I was
Here,
going through a really, really bad
10, 20 years
experience,
from now,
and I went out to stay with my man from I went to school at USC, and I went out there to stay with him. I was going out there anyway, but right before I was ready to leave, something terrible happened, but I still was committed to the trip because I had already, paid for everything. And I went out there, and he lived. He didn't live in the heart of LA, but he lived like up.
But
So every morning, I went out and sat on his, deck.
but
Right there was the mountain.
oh yeah, he was up by Ryan's Canyon.
I forget where exactly he
He
was.
up there on the
Yeah.
top, by the Hollywood sign though.
Nah, he was in the other direction.
Okay,
It
okay.
wasn't really even Los Angeles anymore. It was like outside. I can't remember the name, but it was like every morning I would just go out there and have my coffee and just chill. And I was some rabbits and birds. And
Different.
it was just quiet, man, and it helped me, kind of recover from what I was going through. I still had to deal with it when I got back, but that being okay with your own company, and the quiet that you can create around you, so you can hear yourself. Literally, think. You can hear what's going on. But if you say, I don't want to deal with it, I'm going to run from it, I got to go get up a boys or get up a shorty or whatever. You're running from stuff that you need to deal with. So when I leave the house in the morning, first and foremost, my first goal is to get back home.